Welcome back to Say More Words. Song of the day is Lose Control by Teddy Swims. Y'all, if you have not heard this man's voice, it is sexual and violent. It sounds like whiskey and leather, what I think whiskey and leather would sound like. Like it in the song, he's just like so passionate about the person that he's singing about, and it's so good. I listen to it on full blast in my car every morning. I can't help it. My kids are sick of it. I don't care. It's so good. So, Lose Control by Teddy Swims. Today, we're talking about my people and talking about community. So, one of the things I get asked regularly is how did I get where I am? And very regularly, I will answer my people, my community. And what's so interesting about this topic is that we spent all of 2020 in this kind of haze. And we've been building back up. And if 2020 taught us anything, it was that we cannot actually survive without people in our life. We do need people. We need community. We need people in our lives. And my business would not be what it is. I would not have a name. I would not have a purpose. I would not have all of these things if it wasn't for community and the people in my life. So what does it look like to build a community? Because there's so many adults who come to me and they're like, well, I want friends, or I want these relationships. And it's harder, right? It's harder than when we're in school and we're forced to talk to people. It's harder as an adult to make relationships and also make the time. I think a lot of people are consumed by how busy their schedules are. And I will tell you, having kids who are in sports, I feel that. I feel you. But one of the things that has always been important to me is the relationships that I build in the community that I have. My coaches, Sean and Lacey, Sean Dill, Lacey Book, they call it relationship capital. You can only go as far as the people that you know and the people that you have in your life, because one person can introduce you to one person, to another person, to another person. And all of a sudden you're 6 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon, right? Like the movies. You're only as best as the people that you know. And the people around you. One of the things I talk about pretty regularly, I'll say it again, I'll probably say it again another time, is that you are as blank as the 5 people you hang around the most. Wealthy, successful, mad, happy, any quality of the people around you, good or bad, you are as blank as they are. So they are so very important. Adults say it all the time, like, how do I build these relationships? Well, one, you got to get out of your house. Step one, get out of your house. But two, it's going to community events. It's going and being amongst the people. So, for example, when we first moved to Texas, one of the things that my husband did to build his business is he walked door to door. He went and introduced himself to people as the new chiropractor. And one of the things that I did along with him was networking. And as I was networking, I was also promoting myself for makeup. I was a makeup artist at the time. It was my side hustle that helped me get in front of people. But I will tell you that, during that time, like, we were building community, but we were both working and there was not a lot of extra time in the day. And I will tell you, when I had my daughter, Frankie, it was the most alone I had felt in a really, really long time, because I did not have what felt like people, right? I didn't have parents here helping me with a newborn. I didn't have, like a meal train or anything like that. I just felt so very alone. And it was having a baby that made me realize, like, how alone I was, how far away I was from the friends that I was talking to regularly, because they were my friends from home. I had not built a community here. I had gone out and networked a little bit, but I had not built a community here in Texas. And that's when I realized Texas at the time was still not home to me. So after Frankie was born, it was actually like 3 or 4 months after Frankie was born, I joined a local moms group. And we all know the moms rule the roost. The local Facebook moms groups do anyways. And I joined a local moms group. I joined a networking group. And that is when everything started to change for me, because I was surrounded by people who were growing businesses. I was surrounded by people who wanted change and enacting change. And then I was also surrounded by people who were willing to help and support me as a woman, as a mom, as an entrepreneur, and just as a person. And they started to show up, and they helped with Frankie, because another thing, like, We as humans, it's primal. We would not have survived alone. On no planet would we have survived alone. And community is so very important. It was back then, it still is today. And I knew, even from a young kid, that I didn't ever want to raise babies by myself. And I'm not saying not that I'm raising my babies alone at home. My husband is very present. What I mean is the community around us. I didn't want my babies to only know us as the safe adults. I wanted to have friends around and family around and people that adults that they could trust that weren't us. That was very important to me. And so when Frankie was born and I realized, man, that doesn't exist, that was scary. So I joined this networking group. I met a bunch of women who I'm still friends with today. And a bunch of us had brand new baby businesses, or even at the time, we had really big dreams, but really small businesses. And now here we are 7 years later, where a good chunk of us are still really good friends that do business together. And our businesses have grown exponentially beyond our wildest dreams, beyond what we could have even thought would be possible back when we met 7 years ago. So when I had Frankie, I felt so very alone. When I had Kelvin, I had that feeling of community and home that I had been looking for and longing for. And it made Texas feel like home. So when Calvin was born, people were coming to the hospital. We had a meal train, I think for like 2 weeks, we didn't have to make dinner, which was great because it was my second C-section in under 20 months. And that was rough for me. And people were coming to help care for the kids and make sure the businesses were run, and they were present. Okay. See, but building community means you have to be present. And when people are new to networking or they're new trying to find new people, I tell them you have to be present. You have to listen, because we spend so much time functioning off of the go, 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 that the conversations are superficial, or we're not listening intently to people when they're in front of us. And we can get into this space of just mundane information, not remembering anything. When you're looking to build community, whether it's for personal or business reasons, listen, listen. So I became a really great listener, and became a really good partner in life. We use the term partner for the spouse that we have at home, but in actuality, we have multiple partners in life. Now today, I'm getting ready to leave. I don't know when this podcast is going to air, but today I'm getting ready to leave. I'm going to Ireland and France for 10 days with some of my friends from college. And like the fact that I'm leaving, my community, people everywhere, like, okay, well, make sure that your in-laws have my number just in case they need it. Make sure if the kids need anything, we're here. If anything happens, we're here. Like, I'm surrounded by people who say and show up and say, I'm here. Now, it could be because I'm a kid who, and I say kid loosely, I'm not a kid anymore, but deep down inside, I'm a kid who does not have a large family anymore. And I grew up in a large family, and I grew up in a community of moms. Like in my community that I grew up in, everyone's mom was your mom. God bless the 80s and 90s where like your friends' parents could still beat you, I mean, don't come after me, but like that was a good time when everyone's parents raised everybody, because there was a lot of respect and there was a lot of manners. And I also grew up in a military family as well. So I think things are different in that way too. But I grew up in that environment in which if you couldn't get home, so-and-so's mom probably could get you home from Girl Scouts, from sports and things like that. And it's different today. We're highly connected because we're online, but we're highly disconnected in personal relationships. And so it's just leaving on this trip has shown me that I have successfully created the community of people that I longed for, that my kids could have. These sweet babies, they are so very confused as to what an aunt and uncle is. And I'm sure at some point they're going to learn about it in school. But like they think every aunt and uncle is somebody we went to school with or somebody down the street. But that's what's really important in that is that they have safe adults outside of us. Okay. And I have those safe adults too. So that's in the personal realm. Having safe adults and creating a community of people is important. You have to listen to them. You have to make the connection. You have to make the time. See, time is the only resource we can never get back. And so it is one of the most precious things that you can give to people is your time, a coffee date, a moment, a phone call these days. Literally, a phone call is considered highly regarded because it takes time. We live in a society that's so rushed and busy. What time are you giving to your people? You should stop being shocked that you don't have people in your life if you're unwilling to give the time. And I'm not going to say sacrifice the time, I'm saying give the time. Time is a gift. Anytime my friends call and they're like, hey, I have a break in my schedule that showed up, would you like to grab coffee or lunch? I will, if it's available in my schedule, I will say yes always because that time is a gift. You need to listen, you need to give time, and you need to be interested to build a community, interested in the people around you, interested in learning something new. One of the things I love about living in Dallas Fort Worth is, there's like 9 million people here, 8 million people. 500 people move here every day. I think that's what it was last year. It might have slowed down finally because it doesn't seem like there's as many people here. But one of the things I love is that there's so many different people here in this area. You could meet so many different individuals that you don't even know are famous. You could meet people that with so many different stories from you. And so you have to be interested. You have to go out. You have to leave your house. Ground zero is leaving your house, but you have to have the want. What is it? And also the knowing, like, what are you looking for inside of your community? Inside of my community, it was very important for me to be surrounded by people who were raising families. Okay. And even those who are not raising families, it was important to me to have the support team that when I'm trapped in an ice storm in northern Minnesota, I can have somebody call the school, get them in to get my kids, to get them picked up, and which was a role that I was supposed to make, but I was going to miss my flight because of ice, right? Like I wanted people who could be there, be in the community, be part of your life. The people who say, "How can we help? What can we do?" Even the people who just call, the people who give their time. I am where I am today, mentally, physically, emotionally, and in business because of the community of people that I've built around me. Now, my community is huge. I love my community. I love having people. I love having people to hug every single day. Actually, it was really funny. I went to a networking meeting this week and I pulled up and I saw like the front row of the parking was all of my friends. I could see all of their cars. And when I walked in, I was like, it's just like when we were little and we'd pull up and see all of our friends' bikes at the same house and you knew you were going to have a great time. That's how I feel when I pull up to places and I see my friends' cars out. Because yes, even though I live in this massive metroplex, I live in kind of a small part of the metroplex in a small town vibe, which I do love. Like I wanted people who were in business and I wanted people who weren't. I wanted people that I could meet for happy hour and I wanted people that I could meet for coffee. I wanted people that I could invite over to my home and who would just show up and kick their shoes off and eat food out of my pantry and not ask twice. I also wanted people who I could do that to. I wanted places where I could go to feel like it was at home. Like I was at home and I could just walk in. I wanted to love other people's babies, right, as my own. And I wanted them to love my babies as their own. And that's the environment that I've built that has created such high success for me because I am operating around people who are vibrating at the same energy level as me. They're in the same space as me. They have kind of the same goals and wants and dreams and it's just a really cool environment to be a part of. And so if you're looking at building that, one of the first steps, whenever I tell people they're looking for something, right? They're looking for someone, a partner, they're looking for a friend, they're looking for a business partner, they're looking for clients. I tell them sit down and write out specifics on what you want in these people. Like, what do they look like? What are their activities? How do they talk? Are they loud? Are they quiet? Are they Are they fun? Are they spontaneous? Are they strict? Like, what exactly are you looking for in the community that you're looking to build? Write it out. And what's really funny is once you write it out, all of a sudden you find it. A lot of times we walk around this world blind to what's going on, and we think that, like, we're never going to find a friend. We're never going to find um, the one I hear all the time from my, I'm never going to find a boyfriend. Well, you're not with that attitude, first of all. But second of all, what is it that you want? Be as specific as possible, specifically in the people that you want in your life. If you're looking to bring in new clients, what do you want that client to look like? Personality wise. What do you want them to, what kind of career do you want? And you can do that for your friends too. You can do that for your friends. What kind of profession are they in? Is it something completely wildly different than yours? Or is it really on track with yours? Do you want to have conversations about business always? Or do you want to be able to vent about your kids? Do you want a friend that wants to go shopping at Target with you and that's how you spend time? What specifically are you looking for in your community? Because if you don't know, you'll never find it. And you'll never find it because you don't know what you're looking for. So it is as simple as writing it out in great detail. Where do they live? What sports do they play? What are their hobbies? Great detail. And that's how you build a community. And then you go out and you listen and you ask the questions and you have the conversations and you take the time. We have 24 hours in a day. 16 of those hours are awake if you only sleep if you sleep the full 8 hours. Okay. So you have 16 hours. How are you spending your time? And where can you work in building your community? Where can you work in having these conversations? Where can you work in the fun and joy of connection? Because, quite honestly, the best thing I have ever done is make really powerful, strong connections. Why do I make those connections? Because I listen, I ask really great questions, and I also share. I share aspects of me as well, in the sense of, like, I see you and you see me. Okay, so if you're looking to build, what relationships do you have right now that are working? What relationships do you have right now that aren't? And what relationships do you want to add to your life to build your community, to build your space, to build your growth, to just build your joy? One of the greatest things about building my community is, one, it brought me safety, it brought me love, but it brought me so much joy. It makes me so happy to see my friends. It makes me so happy to hug people randomly at the grocery store, not randos, right? But like hug people, or get to run into them at the grocery store and hug them and be in the space, because I show up so authentically I show up authentically me always. And I think that one of the best things that's ever happened is I've allowed others to show up authentically as well. So I will scream when I see you, and I will tell you that I love you, and I will give you a big hug. And inside of my community, that is the most important thing to me. It is. And it's built really strong relationships. It's allowed me to travel all over the country, heck, even all over the world, meeting new people and building stronger relationships with others so that I can keep growing and expanding. None of this happened by accident, and none of it happened alone. And that is the most important thing for you to know. None of it happened alone. So I challenge you to look at your community and look, because I feel like everybody wants to add someone new at some point. So look, do you want to add someone new? Write out all of the qualities you want in that person, whether you're building your business or your personal community. It does not matter. Write them out. Look at who you have. Shower them with joy and gratitude. Actually, I would really love it if, after you're done listening to this, go and text somebody in your community and tell them how thankful and grateful you are that they exist in your world and that you get to do life with them, and watch how that changes your day and changes their day. You can start with one, but I'm going to tell you, you're going to do one and you're going to want to do everybody. Okay. You're going to want to text everybody that, because it's such a really great feeling. One of the things we don't do enough is tell people how much we love them and how thankful we are for them. So that is your homework for today. Okay. Look at your community, see what you want to add to your community, and those that are already in your community, shower them with gratitude, love, and praise. I love you so very big. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.